There have been 100 years between each industrial revolution, but only 46 years between Industry Revolution 3 and Industry 4.0. Are you prepared for the rapid technological change that's heading your way? In this podcast, I'm going to cover 9 enablers for Industry 4.0 and what they mean to your business. Stay tuned to learn more right after the intro.
Welcome to the American Lean Podcast, where we cover 5 topics in 5 days in about 5 minutes. The only place in the world where you can get daily lean coaching. Your host is Tom Reed, and he shares his 30 years of experience and covers leadership, culture, entrepreneurship, lean methodologies, Industry 4.0, and interviews special guests on their lean journey. We're glad you're here, so let's go.
Welcome to the American Lean Podcast. This is episode 4, and today I want to introduce you to Industry 4.0, sometimes referred to as smart manufacturing. It is called Industry 4.0 because it is the 4th industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution, which started in 1784, brought about mechanization through steam and water power. It's the first time that our lives really took a step forward. But think about some of the old pictures that you might have seen from England back in the day. Everything was covered with soot. It was very dark, dingy. But even with all that, our lives did take a huge step forward because we could use machines that would help us do a lot of the backbreaking work that up until then had been done by hand. The second industrial revolution started in 1870 and brought about mass production and the assembly line, which were all powered by electricity. Now, the one person that we're probably all familiar with that took advantage of this was Henry Ford. Up until Henry Ford put in the moving assembly line, cars were built as a craft. In other words, people would come to the car in one location and build the entire car. He put in the moving assembly line, and the price of the car dropped from thousands of dollars to about $850. As a matter of fact, between 1913 and 1927, Ford factories produced more than 15 million Model Ts. So I'd definitely say he took advantage of the moving assembly line. The third industrial revolution is identified as starting in 1969 and brought about a lot of new technologies because of the space programs. There are things that today we use every day that were brought about because of the technologies that needed to send man to space. I'm assuming we've all used a microwave recently. Freeze-dried foods, baby formula, even the jaws of life all came out of research that we had to conduct to send a man to space. Now realize there have been about almost 100 years between each of these industrial revolutions, but Industry 4.0 is marked as starting in 2015. Not 4 years ago. It's only been 46 years between the Industrial Revolution 3 and 4. So within Industry 4.0, there are 9 key enablers that are going to help us move forward from a technology perspective. So the first one is cybersecurity and then blockchain. But don't confuse blockchain with Bitcoin. Blockchain is an open ledger that will enable everyone within a value stream to add their information as products move through the value stream. Cloud computing is the second enabler. I'm assuming we're all very familiar with cloud computing. If you use Dropbox or anything that's stored in the cloud, you're very familiar with this type of technology. Industrial Internet of Things. That is the third enabler. If you have a Nest thermostat or a Ring doorbell, you're familiar with some Internet of Things type of products. But the Industrial Internet of Things is where we're going to have sensors on all of our equipment so that we can have instantaneous feedback on how that equipment is performing. All of that will have to be managed and analyzed by big data, which is the fourth enabler. If we're going to have a very large supply chain, and we're going to have all this information being managed by big data, it means we have to have system integration, which then becomes the fifth enabler within Industry 4.0. The sixth enabler is autonomous robots, sometimes referred to as cobots. These are much more flexible, human-friendly robots that don't require nearly as much programming as probably the robots you think of today. Additive manufacturing is the seventh enabler. Think of 3D printing. That's what additive manufacturing is. Augmented reality is the eighth enabler, which is different from virtual reality. We're not going to pretend we're, flying in space, but yet with augmented reality, you could put on a pair of glasses, walk up to a piece of equipment, and it would show you where maybe the oil filter is that you need to change or any other kind of preventive maintenance that needs to occur to aid your TPM efforts. And then the final enabler is referred to as simulation and digital twins. This is a system model that can model, let's say, an elevator and predict when you're going to need to take the elevator out of service to do maintenance on it before something fails. So now you can become much more predictive in the maintenance and the upkeep that you need to do on pieces of equipment that are out in the field. Now, as we move forward, I'll get into each of these topics in much more depth in the podcast and blogs, but I want to give you a brief scenario how they might all fit together to form what I call a smart value stream. Let's say that my wife is watching a TV show. She sees an actress wearing a beautiful dress on a popular show. She thinks it would also look good on her, so she begins to search on social media to see if she might be able to buy one as well. She notices that the dress appears on pins and Pinterest, is being talked about on Facebook, and she sees pictures of it on Instagram. Within 48 hours of seeing the dress on TV, she now finds it available for sale online. How did that happen? Well, using big data, which consists of machine learning, deep learning, predictive analytics, the dress company monitored social media to see if there was sufficient demand to sell the dress to customers. After rapidly analyzing the data, the company placed purchase orders with their manufacturers and on-demand suppliers. These suppliers brought in material from their connected supply chains and began to produce the order within 24 hours. Once the dress company was alerted that they had inventory available, they launched their microsite with the dress offered as an item that customers could order. The flexibility of the supporting systems is what made such a quick turnaround possible. While there are many support systems throughout the Smart Value Stream, the goal of the entire system is to provide information which then increases transparency throughout the Smart Value Stream. Now, on my blog about this topic, I have an infographic which provides additional information on how these key enablers of Industry 4.0 will fit together and support each offer. So I'd ask that you go to AmericanLean.com and look for the blog to download the infographic to learn more. But the whole goal of the Smart Value Stream is to remain flexible, provide transparency amongst everybody within the value stream, as well as security, and then provide real-time customized products to our eager customers. Imagine what that type of scenario is going to do to your business moving forward. Consuming information is great, but I hope you take this information to make yourself and your company a little bit better every day. As always, I'm trying to make this podcast better. So if there are topics that you would like me to cover, or if you would like to share your company's lean journey, please reach out to me at tom@AmericanLean.com. Until tomorrow, have a great day.
Thank you for joining us today. As always, we're honored to serve you, and we hope that you and your company are getting a little bit better every day. Please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast, and share it with others in the lean and business community. If you'd like to turbocharge your lean efforts, please visit us at AmericanLean.com.